app development. So you will see what is an Android, what is the architecture, features, and how Android runtime is, how to install, and what are the things you should know before trying to develop a simple app. And I will show you with a simple demo. Okay. So Android. See, what is an Android? Android is a mobile operating system developed by Google. Android is a mobile operating system developed by Google. See, we have an operating system for computers, right? So we have different operating system for computers. We have Windows, Linux, Macs, etc. So we require a separate operating system for smartphones, particularly for smartphones. So Android is a software mobile operating system, so developed by Google. Okay, and Android kernel is based on one of the Linux kernel's long-term support branches. See, this Android kernel is developed using Linux. Okay, so this Android is designed for touchscreen mobile devices such as smartphones and tablet computers. See, earlier whenever, so when they introduced this Android operating system in say 2005 or 2008, so they developed only for the mobile. So later, so they developed Android software for even tablet computers also. Okay, so remember what is Android? Android is a mobile operating system developed by Google. So this is the architecture of the Android operating system. This is the architecture of the Android operating system. First we have Linux kernel. So this is the hardware layer, you can say. So this Linux kernel interacts with the hardware. So for example, we have display driver, camera driver, flash, Wi-Fi, audio, video. See, if you want to connect a mobile to audio drivers, cameras, if you want to use flash, Wi-Fi, audio, video, so everything will be connected to the hardware. So in order to do that, we need hardware drivers. So the first layer of Android architecture is the Linux kernel. Okay. So which interacts with the hardware of the system, mobile. So next, upon Linux kernel, so we have set of standard libraries. So libraries. So we require a library. Right? So if you want to develop any operating system, if you want, excuse me. So if you want to develop any program, if you want to write any program, so it requires set of libraries. Correct. So here also Android operating system provides large set of libraries. For example, if I want to store a data, so we have SQLite. SQLite. It is a so lighter version of the database. We are say if you want to do, so you OpenGL is here. So we have a OpenGL library. So it helps us to develop graphic related things. So if you want to implement any graphic related things, so you can use OpenGL. Same way we have media framework. So if you want to incorporate audio, video things in your app, so we require libraries for each and everything. We require our libraries, right? So those libraries are available in here, and we have a runtime library. So it's a runtime system where we have core libraries. See, this Android operating system is developed using Java. Android operating system is developed using Java. We know that. So Java, how do you run a Java programs? In order to run a Java program, we need JVM, right? That is Java Virtual Machine. Same way. So here, in order to run our Android program, so we require Dalvik Virtual Machine, that is DVM. So DVM is also a optimized version of JVM. So DVM is nothing but optimized version of JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. Optimized version is called Dalvik virtual machine. And after above that we have application framework. So where we are going to use activity, windows, content manager, view system, etc. So when you develop an app, we are going to see what is this activity, content managers, view, etc. Okay. Upon that we have applications. So you can develop an application for home, like contacts, phone, browser, etc. Okay. So this is the simple architecture of Android. Okay. Next you have features of Android. Why Android? So because it's a powerful open source. That means the source code is easily available. You can take that source code, you can modify, and you can develop your own operating system and customizable operating system. Easily you can add or delete the codes. Variety of apps can be developed and reduces the overall complexity of the code, and ready-made, low cost for high-tech devices. And categories of Android, where and all you can use this Android application. So you can develop an Android application for entertainment, tools like settings, communication, productivity and personalization, music and audio, social media and video, and travel. So nowadays you have seen there is no need to download the music and uh, play, right? So we have apps where you can directly play the music and listen to it. Same way you can develop your own musical app. So these are the different categories of Androids. So the next important is, what is Android runtime? As I told you, Android runtime consists of Dalvik virtual machine and core Java libraries. So this is a comparison of how we are going to compile Java and Android. See, even Android is also developed using Java only. Android is also used developed using Java only. So even Android will be Java code only, but so there is a difference. See, even Java, how do you write a Java? So Java, so we'll compile, so it will so it will generate a Java bytecode, and that Java bytecode will be given to the JVM. So visually what happens? So how do you write a Java? So whenever you write a simple Java program, for example, sample.java, correct? So this is the program. So when you compile this, I think that so this is the Java program. So when you compile this, so it creates a class name called sample.class. We know we have studied Java, right? So whenever you run a sample.java, so it, when you compile that, it will convert to an bytecode. So that intermediate bytecode is sample.class. So this sample.class will be given to JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. So this Java Virtual Machine converts this Java bytecode into machine understandable code. Suppose here, if you are using Windows, so depending upon the machine, it converts this code into machine understandable code. So that is why Java is called platform independent programming language. Same way here also. So here, for example, the same program, say think that I have written a Android program, say called sample.java. When you compile this program, first a class file will be created. First, a class file will be created. Okay. So here, so Java source code, usually it will be Dash extension. So when you write a Java code, so here you also you're going to compile, then it creates sample.class. Okay. After that, again this sample.class will be compiled by DX compiler, that is Delvix executable compiler. See, sample.txt, it's an Java bytecode. Again, so this java.c, sorry, sample.class, again it will be compiled by another compiler called DX compile, that is Delvix executable compiler. So this sample.class name will be converted into, so here, so DX file. Okay. So here it will be converted into sample.dx. This is Delvix byte code. Again, this Delvix board byte code will be given to Delvix virtual machine. So you can see here the code is converted only once. So here your Java program is compiled once, whereas you can see here your same Java program is compiled twice. So here for this it is converted into byte code. Again it is be given to DX DEX compiler, that is Delvix executable compiler. Then so it will create a Delvix bytecode and its file extension will be sample.dx, and this is a Delvix executable file and it will be given to Delvix virtual machine. Okay, so this is how your Android program will be executed by the Android operating system. Okay, so here remember, see, Delvix virtual machine is an optimized version of your JVM. It's an optimized version of JVM because JVM requires a larger memory and larger environment setup to execute the program. See, mobile is very smaller, right? So if you want to execute a program within a mobile, it has lesser power and lesser memory. To suit that, so we require a optimized compilers. That is why they have introduced Delvix JVM. Sorry, Delvix virtual machine. Okay. So DM is optimized for low processing power and low memory environments. Unlike JVM, the Delvix virtual machine doesn't run .class files as instead it runs .dxe files. I told here. So we run .class file, right? JVM runs .class file, whereas DVM runs sam.dx files. So this is a runtime environment of Android. Next, how to install an Android. See, in order to install an Android, so go to developer.android.com/studio. Okay, so note down this. So if you want to install an Android Studio, then you have to go to developer.android.com/studio, where So you can download Android Studio. So here you can download the Android Studio and its version is 4.2. So if you want to install on Linux or different operating system, we have here in the down we have different files. See here, Android Studio downloader. See if you want to install on Windows, click on this. If you are using a Mac user, you have to use this. If you are Linux user, you have to use this. So using these links, you need to install Android Studio. Okay. So now what is the system requirement for this Android? So this is the official website of Android. See this developer.android.com is the official website of Android. So here you can find all the documents, how to install and everything about the Android Studio. So you can get to know from developer.android.com. So this is the system requirement for different operating system. So most commonly used operating system is Windows, right? By us. So if you are using an Windows, if you are in Windows user, so your operating system should be 64-bit operating system. So it supports Windows 8 and above operating system. It doesn't support Windows 7. And that too Windows 10 with 64-bit. 32-bit operating system will not support. So you cannot install Android Studio. So remember, if you want to install an Android Studio, so it should be 64-bit Microsoft Windows 10 and above. And so minimum 8 GB RAM or more. Minimum 8 GB RAM should be there. So don't try to install on 4 GB RAM. So your system will crash. So if your system is 8 GB, then only try to install. If it is less than 8 GB RAM, so don't install. So if you install also, it will corrupt your system. Okay. And this is the system resolution. So the main thing is you require an 8 GB RAM. Even in 8 GB RAM system, it's very slow. Actually, the optimal is you need to require a 16 GB RAM. 16 GB RAM is required if you want to develop a full-fledged Android application on your system. But 8 GB is minimum. So this is about how you can install Android. So I repeat, this is the developer.android.com is the official website of Android Studio. You can go here, you can install from here. So nothing much. So you can just click on this download. Two options are there. It's really easily understandable. Just click on next, next, next. It will install everything. So if you have any queries, you can ask me. Another doubt, Divya? See, I have 8 GB RAM, so my system, even it will take a little bit of time to load. So by the time it loads, so let me go back to the PPT. So creating Android application. See, Android application development has 4 things. So remember, this is very important. Android application development has 4 things. That is the activity, service, broadcast receiver, and content provide. So what is an activity? Activity represents a single screen with user interface, just like Windows or frame of a Java. Android activity is the subclass of content theme wrapper class. So if you want to create an user interface, first thing you need to create an user interface, right? So that can be done with the help of an activity. Activity represents a frame or a window like Java. Okay. And service. So service which provides the service to your application. So this content provider, and the third one is broadcast receiver. See, if you want to handle, see, whenever you develop an application, so you require to have uh, signal handlings, right? So we need require to have, you need to handle signals. So in order to do that, event handling. So whenever you develop an application, each and everything will happen through an event, right? Suppose you have multiple screen, you may go from one screen to another screen, or you may move from first screen to the nth screen. So events are generated. So in order to handle those events, so we require broadcast receiver and content provider. So content provider will provide you the content. So whatever the information you require, this is nothing but a database. Content provider is nothing but it provides you a data. For example, if you take an application of alarm app, if you take an application alarm app, so here, so the user interface where you can set the alarm, where you can set the alarm is called the activity. See, so in an alarm app, so the user, what are the user interface you see to set the alarm? This is nothing but an activity, and the data is saved in content provider. Data is saved in content provider. So when you set a time, suppose you may set a alarm to 7 o'clock. So when you set alarm, for example, now I'll set alarm for tomorrow's 7 a.m. Then it starts running, right? So your application starts running. So once the application starts running, so it will be controlled by the service. It will be controlled by the service. So your service can be run in the foreground, or maybe it may be run in the background. That depends. Okay. So whatever the events that are generated, so in order to handle those events, we require broadcast receiver. We require broadcast receiver. So this is the activity. See, so first thing you see in an Android is the activity area. So it is an empty frame. Activity area is an empty frame where you need to design the thing. Okay, and we have a layout. So within this layout, we can have different views. See, we can have radio buttons, we have button, we have text button, you can have different things, you can have image. So these things are called views. So this layout contains views, this layout. And here, remember, activities and developed in Java, excuse me. So activity is a Java file, whereas layout is an XML file. Activities and Java file, whereas your layout is an XML file. So this layout contains different views. This layout contains different views, and this layout is an XML file. And so that layout is drawn inside an activity. So this is how an app looks. So activities is an empty frame where you need to design different layouts. And this layout contains different views, and activity is an Java file, whereas layout is an XML file. See first, see whenever you want to develop a new project, go to new and new project. See here. So I'll show you how to develop a simple project. So go to new project. So you need to select a template. You need to select a template. So different templates are available. You can see. So I'll select empty activity. Then you have to press next. And here it will have name of the application, So here I have my application. So if you want, you can change the name. Say hello world and the package name. So by default, it will take the name of the application, and this is the package that will be created for your application. This is the package that will be created for your application, and we have a save location. So if you want, you can change this. So by default, it will save in wherever you have installed Android. So I have installed Android my C drive, user, Ashu, Android Studio projects. So there it will, my application will be stored. And the language, as I told you, see, nowadays Android applications can be, usually in earlier days, they used to develop application in Java. So nowadays there is one more language called Kotlin. So, so most commonly used language nowadays. So this is a Kotlin language. So Kotlin is you can say this is another version of Java program. So if you know Java, so then obviously it's very easy to learn Kotlin. There are few syntax variations are there. So Kotlin, either you can, if you can, so you can develop this Android application either using Java or Kotlin. So there is no restriction. Okay. So Java. And here minimum SDK. Minimum SDK. So here, so by default, it's selected API 16 Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. So that is minimum SDK. So you can see here your app will run approximately so 99% of all the devices. So when you choose this API, so then you develop this your application, then it means that your application will run on most of the available devices. So because this is the older version of the Android Android API. So if you say choose the newer one, see, so you have different variations of Android. Suppose if we use this R API 30 R. So nowadays most of the operating, see, Android studios use this, right? So you can see here only less than 1% of the devices can able to adopt the application you develop. So always choose most commonly used this one. Okay, so the language, remember, see here, see, before developing this application, so here you need to check whether you want to develop in Java or Kotlin. If you are interested in Kotlin, you can learn Kotlin. I can do that in Kotlin. It's okay. So I'll do Java. So after that, so is here what you have selected? You have selected an empty activity. What is an activity? Activity is a empty frame where you are going to design your layouts, and it will ask the name, and by default it will take package name as com.example. And your application name. This is your application name and language. So it will either you can choose Java or Kotlin. So I choose Java and minimum SDK. Next, finish. So you'll get here, right? So once it's loading. That's why I told you the RAM speed is very important. So you should have at least minimum of 16 GB. Then it will load very fastly. So my system I have only 8 GB, so it will take little amount of time. Less than 8 GB, you cannot run this operating system. See, and remember one more thing. So whenever you want to run this software, it has to be connected to internet always. Why? Because it always takes updates from the internet. You can see here, Gradle. So it's downloading the materials, right? So everything happens through internet. So to make sure that your system is connected to internet whenever you run Android Studio. Before that, if you have any queries, you can ask me. See, allowed. Now it has loaded. So this is the one we created. So my application name is allowed, right? So here you can see on the left side we have different. So click on this project. See, click on this project. You can see different files. We have app. So under that we have the main important file called manifest. Manifests where we have Android manifest.xml, and we have Java file. We have resource files, and we have Gradle scripts. Okay, so manifests. So one of the important file in Java here. See, whenever you create an application, all these files are created for each and every application. So you have manifests, Android manifest.xml. So click on this. It's an XML file. It is an XML file. So what is this manifest? The manifest file provides essential information about your app to the Android system, which the system must have before it can run any of the application code. See, what are the necessary information that is required to run your application or your app will be provided by the manifest. So if it requires an action, activity, data, permissions, group permissions, who is the receiver, who is the sender, who is the users, who uses everything. All these permissions is required. Metadata. Okay. So this is the manifest file, and you can see it's an XML file. So this is an XML file. See, we are not created this file. So this code is generated automatically. So whenever you select an empty activity, all these codes are automatically generated. We have not written this code. Okay, so you can see here the manifest, and one thing you need to understand is this. So this is an application. So we have allow backup, that is equal to true. It means you're allowing the backup of the things. And icon. So this is an icon. So whenever you develop an app, so it will have an icon, right? It will have an image. So that is the icon. So you can see here, these are the icons. So if you want to change, you can change these icons. These are the default icons available. Okay, next, label. So label is allowed. So at the time of creating a project, so we give label, right? So, and round icon. So this is also, we'll see that later. And the theme. Theme is nothing but, see, whenever you develop an, see, PowerPoint presentation. So PowerPoint presentation will have a designs, right? So here you can see we have a different designs, a theme. Same way here we have a theme. So if you want to change the theme, you can change the theme. See, it will have icon and it has label. See, manifest as allow backup, that is set to true. That means you are allowing backup of the things. And icon it has, and label. So label is hello world. So if you want to change, you can change the label. So label is hello world. So if you want to change, you can change the label. I'll show how to change the label. And we have theme. So this is the default theme available. So if you want, you can change theme also. And this is the activity area. So this activity. So what is the activity we have selected, and this is the main activity. And so this is very important. So this we have an activity. See, this is activity contains the launcher. This activity contains the launcher. See, your application may have different screens, right? Say for example, so we have developed an app where we have 5 screens: screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, screen 5. And if I want to begin from screen 3, then I have to make screen 3 as the launcher. Screen 3 as the launcher. So this is just like your main program in any Java program. So we know that whenever you write a Java program, you may have n number of classes, but one of the classes will include a main method. Same way, you can have any number of screens, but the activity will start from one of the screen, right? So which is that main launcher screen? So that will be specified here. So your application will start from this launcher, that is the launcher screen activity. Okay, so here on the left hand side we have manifest. So manifest, as I told you, provides the required information to an system in order to run your application. So it contains one XML file, Android manifest.xml, and we have Java file. So here this is the main activity. This is the Java call you can see here, right? So this is the Java file. So even this is created automatically. And so whatever the events if you want to handle, so then everything will be written here. Some Java codes will be written here. So we'll see in the next class how you can embed some more codes. Okay, then we have this manifest Java file, and this RES is the resource file. RES stands for resource file. See, we have drawables. So here, drawables, you can put images. Drawables, if I want to embed some images into my application, then okay. So this resource file contains drawables. So in this drawables, you can put all the images and audio video files. And we have activity.main layout. So where you can design your app. So this is the layout, and this is the preview of the layout. So this is the layout. So by default here we have one text file. By default here we have one text file. Okay, which contains welcome. And we have min map. So where we have the launchers, and here we have colors. Say if I want to change. So this manifest file, as I told you, consists of this label, right? So if I want to change this label, see this label consists of hello. Now if I want to change the label or the color or the theme, then you should go here. See if I want to change the theme, then you should go here. Themes.xml and you can change the theme. see by default, so here activity.xml, so you can see here, so by default it has white and blue different. And so if I suppose if I take and button and write here, see it has a blue, right? So now see here I can draw the views. So these are different views available. We have text buttons, text fields, we have plain text, password, email, phone, etc. Same way time, date, number, and we have buttons, widgets, layouts, containers, helpers, everything. See, whenever you drag and drop something, so you have dragged and drop a button, right? So I have drag and drop a button. So button here. So now here I have dragged a button. You can see here in the Java file. Not this one, sorry. I opened two files. No, this is hello world. Hello world. Drawable layout activity. So now here, so this is the layout. So I can see I will drop a button here. So now you can center the button. You can drag this. So if you want to place this button center, so you need to drag like this. So the button is centered now. Correct. So this button has different color. So if you want to change this color, you can do here also. And if you want to change the theme color, so you can see here, the theme color is blue, right? So if you want to change that, so you can go here into values and themes, and here you can change the color. So here we have color primary variant, color primary. So if you want to change the color, so by default it has purple, right? So you can click on this and you can change the color. You can click on this, you can change the color. Same way, so manifest consists of a label, as I told you, label. So by default it has some name, right? So if I want to change that name, then go to values, go to strings.html, and you can see here. So here I have a label as hello world. So now if I want, I can change that to hello KSSU. I change the label. See, if I want to change the label, what you have to do, you have to go to first on the left hand side, we have resources folder. In the resources folder, we have values, and that we have strings.xml. So you can change this in XML file. Okay, so now this is the button. So by default, whenever you select an empty, so it has a default one text box. Now if you want to increase this, if you want to change this, see by default it's showing hello world, right? So I can change the text here. So size, I can change. So text size, so I'll change to 24. You can see here, right? So now it's text size I have increased. So if I want to, and now if I want, see text size I increased, but it by default it is left placed. So if I want to place this text in the center, then so we need to choose, there is an gravity. So choose gravity. So gravity you choose center. So now your text will be centered, aligned. I repeat. So if you want to change the size of the text, then you can use text size. size. Text size. Where is it? Let's select this. Then size. You can see here, right? Text size. So you can vary. See, I have increased. So I can see here the size of the text is increased. So I'll keep 24. So before it was left aligned. So if I want to keep this center aligned, so then you have to use option called gravity. So you need to select the gravity and you can place. So you want to center, left or right, etc. The different options are there. So I have selected center. Okay. So remember, so whenever you take a blank activity, so this is the activity area. So blank. So here you can design your app using these views and layouts. And here we have different files, app, under that we have manifest, where we have Android manifest.xml, which contains the information required to run your application. Okay. And we have a Java file that is main.activity where you can write your code. Suppose when you are want to develop an bigger applications, you need to move from one screen to another screen, right? So how do you move from one screen to another screen? So you need to handle the events, right? So for handling the events, so you need to write a few Java codes here. Okay. So activity.main. So in the resources file, we have drawable where you can put all your images, audio or video files, which you can embed that in your application. And we have a layout. So whatever the design you want to make, you are going to use in activity main. And here, this is the activity area and this is the preview. This is the activity area. And here on the right hand side, you can see the code related to activity main. So by this the default code that has created. Okay, if want you can type. See, they have selected a text view. That is the reason by default all this is created. And the type of layout is, we have different types of layouts. So here the type of layout they are used is the constraint layout. Constraint layout. And if want you can split the screen so that you can see both code as well as the activity area. And here we have a design. This is the design actually, and this is the code. So if you want to see both, you can use this code split. Okay. So now, so here, so suppose if you drop any button here, see I have dropped a button here, right? So now you can see in the code part, you can see here. So otherwise you need to write this much of code in order to draw a button. So you have to use button tab and you have to it will have an ID, width and height and the text and the absolute value of x and y. So you can write this. You manually need to type this. Otherwise, it's better you can drag and drop. Okay. So now nothing will happen because whenever you run this app, suppose if I click on this, suppose it has to perform some action, right? So if you want to perform some action, again you have to write event listeners for this particular button, where you have to write that one. Again you have to write that event listeners in this Java file main activity. Here you need to write event listeners. Okay. So when you develop a simple applications, so when you start developing lab programs, we'll come to know how all these things can be incorporated. Okay. So by now you need to understand what is this Android manifest.xml, and this is the activity file where you are going to design the activity. Okay. So now this hello world. So if you want to change the text, you can change. So here text is there, hello world. So I can change hello is the same. You can see here, right? So the text is changed to hello KSSCM. Okay. So in order to run this application, so you require a emulator. See, you can see here emulator, right? So you can use here, or here we have emulators. So I already installed the emulator. Just so in order to run this application, you require an emulator. So now I am running this simple app. So where it has only one thing. So allow KSSCM. So before this, so let me check what. So this is your syllabus. So where? So part A, we have both part A and part B. So mobile application development. So here we have two parts, part A and part B. So part A, part B both contains programs. See part A, so you are going to create a visiting card. So program 1, so we are going to create a visiting card, and program 2, we are going to create a simple calculator application, and program third app what you are going to create is an sign up activity. So we are going to create different activities where we have sign up and login activity. So whenever, just like an email, right? So whenever you provide username and password, so it will be taken to a login, right? So same activity you are going, for that you are going to develop an app. Later we have so image wallpaper. So how to change image, background image of the screen. Next, we have a simple counter application where we have a counter, and if you press start, it starts counting, and if press stop, it will stop. And we have 6 program where we'll convert. So we'll pass XML and JSON data. Okay, 7, 8. So there are 8 programs in part A. So in the examination, you need to execute and show one of these 8 programs. Whereas part B, even part B has contains few programs. Okay, so what university suggests is part B has to be developed like an project. See, part A will be lab programs. Part B has to be developed by the students as a project. So this project, either you can choose any of the programs in part B. For example, so part B, so here we have medicine database. So we have meeting information, SMS application, we have file application. So the media player application, clipboard activity. So these are the different applications given in part B. But if you're interested, you can take your own, you can develop your own apps. Okay, remember part A is lab program, and part B student has to develop your own apps. Either you can take part B programs and you can incorporate new features into it, or if you're not interested in those programs, you can develop your own application. Okay, for that you need to create a batch. So probably of 2 members. They are not given how many members per batch, so I'll confirm you soon. So probably I'm thinking a 2 is best.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can we do 3 in a team, sir? Because this is a new lab for us now, sir. That's why.
Who's speaking?
Jayant, sir.
Yes. I'll confirm, pa. Tomorrow, by tomorrow I'll confirm. Okay. In
Okay, sir.
the circular, they are not given how many members. So I'll confirm by tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
See, can you see here? This is the launcher. So this is the launcher. This is the emulator where our application will run. So we created an application hello, right? So where we displayed hello KSSM. Actually, I run different program. Wait, this I run this. My application. So this Gradle is still running. So this is an emulator where your application will run. Okay. So this is about introduction to Android. So the things you should know is, so what is an activity area? So what is this Android manifest? I'll share the PPT. So go through the PPT one. So in the next class, I'll show you the first lab program. I'll execute and show you. So thank you all for joining the session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sorry.